Hello and welcome to Pennyhill Junction. You're watching episode 12 of the Meet the Fleet series. In this episode I take a look at the Heljan 3419 BR Green Class 33/0, running number D6540. The Cromptons, a nickname derived from their Crompton Parkinson electrical equipment, have been part of the mainline railway scene for well over 40 years, and with a number surviving into preservation, their future is assured. Originally ordered for use on the former Southern region, their usefulness and reliability has seen them find work on large parts of the system. Unique when built, they featured electric train heating, whilst most other mainline diesels were still being produced with steam heating boilers. The space saved meant that the builders, BRC&W, were able to fit the larger Sulzer engine in the Type 2 body shell, placing the class in the Type 3 category. Also unique to a diesel class was the fitting of the SR 2-character train reporting code as opposed to the widely adopted BR 4-character variant. This, along with a lack of front gangway doors, resulted in a very neat and uncluttered front end appearance. With the later abolition of the BR 4-character system, most classes suffered from various forms of cab front rebuilds, with varying degrees of success. The Class 33s avoided such disfigurement and have remained virtually unaltered throughout their long lives. As part of the 1966-67 Waterloo to Bournemouth electrification scheme, 19 Class 33s were modified to work in push-pull mode with a variety of EMU stock and the unpowered 40C trailer sets. This work consisted of fitting Buckeye couplers and waist-height control jumper cables, earning this subclass the nickname of bagpipes. Under TOPS classification, they become Class 33-1. A more radical subclass was created with the final batch of locomotives, D6586 to 97, later 33201 to 212. These final 12 locos were built to the narrow Hastings gauge, necessary because of limited tunnel clearances on that line. These locos have a more slab-sided appearance because the body sides are the same width as the soul bars. These Slim Jims, as they became known, were very costly to produce, greatly exceeding their tender price. The class was unnamed until 1980, when 33008 and 33052 became Eastleigh and Ashford, reflecting their association with these railway towns. An assortment of names has since been bestowed on other class members. Two early casualties were D6502 in May 1964 and D6576 in November 1968 due to accidents, but serious inroads to the class were not made until the end of the 1980s. Members of the class continue to fulfill a useful role even in the post-BR privatisation era, and continue their work on a number of preserve lines around the UK, a fitting testament to a fine class. Okay, so here it is, my very first Heljan loco. As you can see, it's product number 3419, and it's the BR Green Class 33/0, and the running number is a D6540, and that's with the small yellow panels. When you look at the packaging is fairly standard across all manufacturers now. You can see the loco is tightly contained in the icebox container. So let's get the loco out the box, take a closer look. Okay, so with the model now out of the box, you can already see how beautifully detailed this Heljan Class 33 is. It's quite a decent weight as well, so it's got some good traction, some good pulling power. Also comes with this accessory pack, so I haven't looked into what's in the bag as yet, but I'll look at that perhaps at a later date once it's running and tested and I'm happy it's all working fine. And of course, as is standard with most locos, there is an instruction booklet. With the Heljan loco, this particular loco, the Class 33, otherwise known as a Crompton, tells you a little bit in particular about this specific model. Not the class itself in real life, but this particular model. As you can see there, states it has a powerful 5-pole motor and heavy die-cast chassis, which has a haulage capability of over 15 coaches on level track. Also information there as well on running in the loco. And inside the booklet, of course, there's information on how to install the DCC decoder, which I'll be doing shortly. A schematic here which details all the various parts available for this loco. And on the back, it gives detail of the prototype, and of course the locomotive history, which I presented to you at the start of this video. Okay, so the body has now been removed, giving me access to the blanking plate so I can install the DCC decoder. Certainly wasn't easy to remove the body. The instructions say access to the chassis, motor and printed circuit board is gained by removing the body shell. Gently ease the body apart from the chassis along its lower edge, unclipping the 4 securing lugs. The chassis can then be gently drawn out by exerting a gentle separating force. Wasn't quite as straightforward as the instructions say. Doesn't help either. I've just cut my fingernails, so couldn't get my nails between the body and the chassis to say prise it apart. So in the end, what I had to do is just use a very fine blade just to separate, and then I just stuck a little 4 small pieces of thin card in between, so I can then just separate the body off of the chassis. So not straightforward, fairly similar actually to, if you recall, my last Meet the Fleet video, which was the Hornby Class 153. Yeah, removing the body was equally as challenging from this Heljan Class 33. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the blanking plate. I'm going to get the chip installed. And just for your information, so with regards to this loco, I'm trying out for the first time a lens 8-pin decoder. All my other locos on the layout have a Bachmann, either 8-pin or 21-pin decoder. But well, firstly, I want to say a big thanks to Dave Watson from Dean Park Station. So I messaged Dave directly, and he was kind enough to give me some information regarding his own Heljan models and his preferred decoder. So I'm going to give these a go and see how it works out. Okay, so just before I install the chip, one of the things I've noticed, which is something different from Hornby and Bachmann decoders that I've seen before. So I have used Hornby 8-pin decoders before, but the 2 that I've used previously, neither of them worked, so I just stuck with Bachmann, and they were going into Hornby locos as well. But with this particular lens version, it has a double-sided adhesive pad. As you know from previous Meet the Fleet videos, generally what I use is a bit of insulating tape, which I just put over the chassis to keep the PCB secure, stop it from moving freely in the chassis. But as you can see here, there is actually a position on the main PCB on the loco for a stick pad. As you see, is there So it's almost as if these lens decoders were designed for these particular models. Anyway, so let's move along and get the chip installed. Okay then, so the chip, as you can see, has now been installed. The decoder PCB has been stuck down to the main loco PCB, nice and secure. So now I'm just going to get this onto my programming track, get it configured, give it a quick test before putting the body back onto the chassis. So when you join me again, the loco should be on the main layout, all ready to run in for the first time. Okay, so the loco has now been programmed. It's now on the main layout. You can see we have lights on at the front there, including the head code panel. However, I was expecting to see tail lights on the rear. Now, I assume this model of loco, I mean, I'm no expert on the Class 33, but I assume this loco is meant to have tail lights, and in fact it does say in the instructions that it operates with headlights, head code panel lights and tail lights, but at the moment they don't seem to be functioning, so that's something I need to take a look at. Okay, so I've gone away and done a little bit of research and also talked to some fellow modelers who have a number of these Heljan Class 33 models, and I have been reliably informed that this particular model doesn't have the tail lights. In fact, the prototype itself doesn't have tail lights as such. The red light at the rear of this loco is provided by blinds, which are then pulled down over the head code panel, as you can see at the front. So it is possible to represent that in model form. Will I go down that route? Probably not. Reason being, of course, this is going to be working on the heritage line, so it's likely to be pulling a rake of Mark 1 coaches, so there really isn't a need for me to have tail lights on this particular model. But at least I know that the model is fine, there's no issues, and there's no better time like the present than to take it out for its first run and get the loco running now in both directions. Okay, so that's the loco now fully running in both directions. So now let's take a closer look at some of the finer details of this model before ending the video with a brief running session. Okay, so as I mentioned at the start of the video, this is my very first Heljan loco purchase. So I wasn't entirely sure what I'd make of it, but yeah, very pleased so far with what I've seen in terms of the level of detail and the smooth running. Of course, I haven't had the opportunity to pull any rolling stock or wagons as yet, but as I said, I'll be doing that in the very near future, and of course that will form part of the running session. But in terms of price, I mean, the price is comparable with other high-end locos from manufacturers, the likes of Hornby, Bachmann, Dapple, etc. This one I did get a bit of a discount at the time of purchase, but I'll just leave really the pictures to paint the picture themselves in terms of the detail. There is further detailing I believe that I can add, like snow plows, etc., and perhaps more buffer beam details, but I haven't really looked close enough at that as yet. And as I'm no class 33 expert, so I will need to do some research online, or again speak to individuals within the hobby who certainly know a lot more about this particular loco than I do. But as I'll just pan the camera around the loco, you can see fantastic application of the livery, no blemishes whatsoever, crisp, clear lines. So very, very impressed with my first Heljan purchase. And I think there's a strong possibility there will be more added to the layout at a later date. So I do hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave you now, as I said, with a brief running session. So until next time, thanks again for watching, and bye for now.